in the frozen wasteland of Manchuria, there stood a facility that the world was never meant to discover. Between 1937 and 1945, over 10,000 innocent people entered its gates. Not one walked out alive. They were frozen, infected, dissected, all in the name of science. This is Unit 731, Japan's darkest secret. A secret so horrifying that even the Nazis called it barbaric. Welcome to the shadows of history. Our story begins in 1932. Japan has invaded Manchuria. The empire is expanding, but one man has a vision that goes beyond conquest. His name is Shiro Ishii, Lieutenant General Shiro Ishii, a brilliant microbiologist, a decorated officer, and a man with no conscience. Ishii graduated from Kyoto Imperial University, top of his class. He studied bacteriology in Europe. He saw the future of warfare, and he believed that biological weapons would win Japan the war. In 1936, construction began, 6 square kilometers, over 150 buildings, barracks, laboratories, prisons. They called it the Epidemic Prevention and Water Purification Department. But everyone knew it was something else. The facility was located in Pingfang, a district of Harbin in Japanese-occupied Manchuria. Remote, isolated, perfect for keeping secrets. By 1939, Unit 731 was fully operational, and Ishii had everything he needed. Everything except one thing: test subjects. The victims came from everywhere: Chinese civilians, Soviet prisoners, Korean resistance fighters, men, women, children, even pregnant women. They were told they were going to work camps. Instead, they were brought to Pingfang, to the facility, to Unit 731. Upon arrival, their names were taken, their identities erased. They became numbers, not people. The guards called them Maryuta, logs, because to them, these people were nothing more than wood, raw material for experiments. Once the cell door closed, there was no escape, no hope, only waiting for their turn in the laboratory. What happened next defies human comprehension. Frostbite experiments. Prisoners were taken outside in temperatures of -20 degrees Celsius. Their arms were exposed, dipped in freezing water, left until frozen solid. Then they were brought inside, thawed, sometimes with hot water, sometimes with fire. The doctors took notes. They wanted to know the best way to treat Japanese soldiers suffering from frostbite, so they froze prisoners again and again until the tissue was destroyed beyond repair. Biological warfare tests: plague, cholera, anthrax, typhoid. Prisoners were infected deliberately. The progression was documented. Every symptom, every stage, until death. Some were given contaminated food. Others were injected directly. The goal was to find the most efficient way to spread disease, to weaponize it, to turn bacteria into bombs. Vivisections, live dissections, without anesthesia. Doctors wanted to see how diseases affected living organs, so they cut them open while they were still alive. Heart still beating, lungs still breathing. The screams were ignored. This was science. This was progress. This was necessary. Or so they told themselves. Pressure experiments. Prisoners were sealed in chambers. The pressure was increased until their organs ruptured. Their eyes bulged from their skulls. Their eardrums burst. All to study the effect of altitude on pilots. All to gain an advantage in the war. Weapon tests. Grenades. Flamethrowers. Chemical agents, all tested on living human beings. Prisoners were tied to stakes at various distances. The weapons were fired. The damage was measured. The data was recorded. Even children were not spared. Pregnant women were infected to study transmission to the fetus. Families were infected together to study transmission rates. Humanity was not just ignored. It was systematically destroyed. Over 10,000 people died in these experiments. Not one survived to tell their story. August 1945. The war is ending. The Soviet Union is advancing toward Manchuria. Ishii knows what is coming. He gives the order. destroy everything. The remaining prisoners are killed, executed, burned. The buildings are blown up, the laboratories reduced to rubble, documents are burned, evidence erased. When Soviet forces arrive days later, they find nothing but ruins and bodies. But the Americans, they know something happened here, and they want answers. Intelligence reports have mentioned Unit 731, whispers of biological weapons, experiments on humans. The Americans begin their investigation, and then a deal is made, in secret, behind closed doors. The United States offers Ishii and his team complete immunity from prosecution in exchange for their research data. All the data, every experiment, every result, every horrifying detail. The reasoning was simple. The Cold War was beginning. The Soviet Union could not be allowed to get this information, and America wanted to know what Japan had learned, what biological weapons could do, how effective they were. The price was justice. The price was accountability. The price was the lives of 10,000 victims whose deaths would never be avenged. Shiro Ishii never faced trial. He was never charged with war crimes. He lived freely in Japan, working as a consultant. He died in 1959 of throat cancer. He was 67 years old. He never expressed remorse. He never apologized. To the end, he believed he had done nothing wrong. His subordinates also escaped justice. Many went on to prominent careers in medicine, pharmaceuticals, and academia. Some became wealthy. Some became respected. The data they provided to the United States was used in the American Biological Weapons Program. The experiments on those 10,000 victims contributed to military research for decades. For nearly 40 years, Japan denied Unit 731 ever existed. The experiments were called Chinese propaganda. The testimonies were dismissed as lies. The evidence was hidden, but in the 1980s, documents were declassified. Survivors came forward. Journalists investigated. The truth finally emerged. Today, a museum stands where Unit 731 once operated. The Museum of Evidence of War Crimes by Japanese Army Unit 731. It displays the ruins, the equipment, the testimonies, a reminder of what happened, a warning of what humans are capable of. But questions remain. How much did the United States really know? Was the deal justified? Was scientific data worth more than justice? And are there other secrets still buried? Other facilities? Other experiments? Other victims whose stories will never be told? Unit 731 is one of history's darkest chapters, a chapter that was almost erased. What do you think? Should the perpetrators have faced justice? Was the deal with America justified? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to explore more dark history, subscribe and hit the bell. New videos every week. Remember history, so it never repeats.